Hey Thinksters, and welcome to this video where I want to show you how to join a list in reverse order in Python. So say you have the following list, like this one with some string elements, can be one character, each string element can also have multiple characters, and now you want to join together these elements but in reversed order, okay? So you want to have this one as the first element, this one as the second, this one as the third, and so on. So how do you do this in the most Pythonic, most efficient way? Okay, and I will just start right away with the most Pythonic way. It's of course you need to see the results, so we print something. What do we print? So we use the first of all we need to reverse the list. How can we accomplish this? We basically simply use slicing with negative step size. So you see we on the list we use this special slicing notation with default start index, default stop index, so which means that we slice the whole string. So we don't have a start, we don't have a stop, we slice over the whole string, but then we use -1 as the step size. So we have a negative step size, which means that we go, instead of going from the left to the right, we go from the right to the left. Okay, so it's just reverses the order in which we visit each element. And you can use slicing on top of strings, lists, on top of basically any sequence type in Python. So it's I would say the most Pythonic way to reverse a list. Okay, so this way we have reversed the list. In Python now we simply need to join the elements, and you can use the join method of the Python string. So the join it's a method, so of a Python object, and of which object? Of a string object. Okay, so you first create the string object, the empty string that is used as a delimiter. In this case, we don't want to have any other delimiter, so we don't want to have a new line character or something. But if you want, you can of course have another delimiter here, so you can have like an empty space or so. But in our case, we don't want to have any delimiter between the elements of our strings in the list, so therefore we use the empty string to just glue them together. Okay, so and this is a very efficient, very Pythonic way of joining a list in reversed order. If you execute this, you see we get the result Python. Surprise. Okay, so if you would join them with an empty string, for example, then you see we also have the result Python, but in between each two characters we have an empty string. Okay, so are there other methods? Yeah, so I would say the second most Pythonic method is basically the same, with one difference, that we don't reverse the string using slicing, but using the built-in reversed function. I mean, it's built in, so it's hard to argue that it's not Pythonic to use the function. And also it's readable, kind of. Yeah, so you need a few more character space. So therefore it's like a bit less concise than the slicing variant. But it's very readable, it's very short, and it's also very efficient. So this is also like a nice method, and many beginners coders, I would say, will prefer this method. Why? Because it's more readable. I mean, this reversed, it's an English term, so you can understand intuitively what it does. Here slicing, you have to think a bit about what slicing does. But for an expert coder, actually it's the same. Yeah, so they would just see, oh, this is reversing the string. They don't need the English term to see that this reverses a string or list. So therefore it's basically, so both methods are equally readable for an advanced Python coder, so therefore they would prefer slicing with negative step size. Okay, and the third method is to yeah, this is like the worst method, I would say, is to first create an empty string, then go over all elements in reversed order, and simply use string concatenation to obtain the final string, which is Python as well. Okay, so this is like the third method, but this is the worst method. It takes the most number of characters, but actually many beginner coders will use such a method. Even if you come from other programming languages like Java or C++, you are used to this kind of writing code, and so like this non-functional approach. And this is, but it's not really pretty, and it's also not very efficient. Why? Because strings are immutable in Python. So therefore, you will create, each time you modify a string, you will basically create a new string. So in here you add one character at a time to this string variable. So you simply add a character, and basically what you are doing here is to create a new string where you have one character added. And then in the next loop iteration, you will create another string adding one character. And then you create a new string adding one character. So after that, like you will have, if you have a list with 1000 elements, you will have created 1000 strings just to create one string with 1000 characters, just to glue them together. So this is very inefficient and not very pretty. Okay, so the most Pythonic way, I would say, is to use indexing, slicing with negative step size, and of course you can also use the reversed method. This is also quite Pythonic. Okay, so thanks for listening to this video. If you want to like improve your practical code understanding skills, then check out my free webinar, how to build your high income skill Python, where I show you how I started as a Python developer online, as a Python freelance developer, and yeah, increased my earning potential until I reached a point where I actually don't work for less than $100 per hour. Okay, so check out the free webinar and see you soon. Bye.